It was a quiet Thursday night when Emma returned home from work. She lived alone in a small apartment on the edge of town, a peaceful place usually. She liked the silence after long days, but tonight the silence felt different. It was too heavy, too still. Emma locked the door, made herself a cup of tea, and sat on the couch. Outside, the streetlights flickered now and then, throwing quick flashes of light through her curtains. She turned on the TV for some background noise. Around 10:30 p.m., her phone rang. Unknown number. She stared at the screen for a moment, unsure if she should answer. Finally, she picked up. "Hello?" No one spoke. Just a faint sound, like breathing. Slow, steady breathing. Emma frowned. "Who's this?" The call ended. She shrugged it off, thinking it might be a wrong number. But a few minutes later, the phone rang again. "Same number. Hello?" she said, a little firmer this time. Again, in silence, and that same slow breathing, then a whisper, almost too soft to hear. "I can see you." Her body froze. She looked around her small apartment. Curtains closed. Doors locked. How could anyone see her? "Who is this?" She shouted into the phone, but the line went dead again. Emma tried to calm herself. Maybe it was some kid pulling a prank. She checked the windows, locked them tighter, and turned up the TV volume. After a while, she convinced herself it was nothing and went to bed. But at 12:07 a.m., the phone rang again. This time, she didn't answer. She let it ring once, twice, then stopped. She exhaled slowly and turned to her side to sleep. Then came a soft knock on her front door. 3 slow taps. Emma sat up in bed, heart racing. She waited, holding her breath. Knock, knock, knock. She wanted to scream but couldn't find her voice. Her mind was spinning. Should I call the police? Is someone outside? She tiptoed toward the door, careful not to make any sound. Through the peephole, nothing. The hallway was empty. She waited for a moment longer, then finally whispered to herself, "It's just the wind or some kids." Trying to calm down, she went back to bed. But sleep didn't come easy. Every sound in the apartment, the hum of the fridge, the creak of the pipes, made her heart skip. At 1:43 a.m., her phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a call. It was a message from the same number. It said, "Why did you stop answering?" Her hands shook as she read it. She didn't reply. She turned her phone off, grabbed her blanket, and curled up, staring at the door. Then came another sound, this time from her balcony. A soft scraping noise like someone's shoe brushing against metal. Emma's apartment was on the second floor. No one should be on that balcony. She slowly moved toward the sliding glass door, her pulse pounding in her ears. The curtains were thin and she could see a faint shadow behind them. Someone was standing there, her breath caught. She backed away quietly and grabbed her phone to call the police, but she had turned it off earlier. Her shaking fingers struggled to power it back on. Another knock. This time, on the glass. She finally got the phone on and dialed 911, whispering, "There's someone on my balcony." The operator's calm voice tried to keep her steady. "Stay inside. Officers are on their way. Don't open any doors or windows." Emma nodded, tears in her eyes, even though no one could see her. She hid behind the couch, waiting. Minutes felt like hours. The knocking stopped. Silence again, then footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps moving away from the balcony. The police arrived 10 minutes later. They checked everything, the balcony, the hallway, the surroundings. They found no one. But they did find muddy footprints on the balcony floor, and a single handprint on the glass door. The prints didn't match Emma's. The officers stayed with her for a while, told her to stay somewhere else for the night. She went to her friend's apartment and didn't return home until morning. When she came back, her neighbor, an old man who lived across the hall, stopped her. "You okay, miss? I heard the noise last night. Saw someone standing outside your balcony before the cops came." Emma froze. "Did you see his face?" The man shook his head slowly. "No, but he was tall, and he just stood there, watching." She never got another call from that number again, but sometimes late at night she still gets that same feeling, that someone's watching her from the dark. Liam was a quiet guy who loved exploring old, abandoned places. Every weekend he'd take his camera, drive out to some forgotten town, and take pictures. It was his strange little hobby, finding beauty in things everyone else had left behind. One Saturday, he heard about an old farmhouse half-burned and empty for over 20 years. Sitting miles away from the nearest town. People said it was haunted, that no one ever stayed there for long. Liam didn't believe in ghosts, but he did believe in good photos. So he packed his camera, a flashlight, and drove there before sunset. The road was rough, with tall trees on both sides. When he finally saw the farmhouse, his excitement faded a little. The roof was half collapsed, windows broken, and the front door hung loosely on its hinges. It looked like it could fall apart any moment. Still, he parked his car and went in. Inside, the air smelled of dust and burnt wood. The floor creaked with every step. He started taking pictures in the old staircase, the fireplace, the cracked mirrors. His flashlight beam caught bits of wallpaper peeling off the walls like old skin. He found an old photo frame lying face down on the floor. When he picked it up, he saw the photo inside. A family of 3. A man, a woman, and a little girl. Their faces were smiling, but something about their eyes made him uneasy. The photo looked too real, like they were watching him. Liam took a picture of the photo, then placed it back. He moved upstairs. Most of the rooms were empty except for one, a child's bedroom. Toys were scattered on the floor, dusty and melted from the fire. A small bed sat against the wall, half burned but still standing. On the bed lay another photograph. This one was old and faded, but when he brushed off the dust, he froze. It was a picture of himself. Liam dropped it instantly. His hands shook. It couldn't be. The photo looked recent, same jacket, same hair, but he had never been there before. He backed away slowly, trying to tell himself it was just some weird coincidence. Maybe someone printed his photo from social media. But who would do that? He heard something then, a soft creak behind him. He turned quickly, shining his flashlight toward the doorway. Nothing, just the dark hallway. He took a deep breath and decided to leave. Enough exploring for the day. But as he walked toward the stairs, he noticed something odd on the wall. Dozens of photos pinned in a messy line, all black and white. Most were burned or scratched, but some were clear. Each photo showed someone standing inside the house just like he was now. Different people, men, women, teenagers, and all looking frightened like they had been caught off guard. Liam's stomach turned. Were these other explorers? Where were they now? He took one step back and heard a camera click. His flashlight flickered. The sound came from behind him. He spun around. Who's there? Silence. He looked around the dark hallway, heart racing. Then again, click. A flash of light from the other end of the hall. Someone was taking his picture. Liam ran toward the stairs, tripping slightly as he descended. He reached the front door, but it was shut tight now. He pulled hard, but it wouldn't move. The air felt thicker, colder. Then the clicking started again. Faster. Closer. He looked around wildly, but the beam of his flashlight was weak now. His camera, hanging around his neck, suddenly flashed on its own. It had taken a picture by itself. He yanked it off and threw it to the ground. The flash went off again as it hit the floor. In that brief light, he saw a figure standing by the window. Tall, thin, wearing a burned old dress. The face was blackened, but the eyes glowed faintly white. Liam screamed and ran to the back door. To his relief, it opened. He bolted outside into the cold night and didn't stop running until he reached his car. He drove away fast, not looking back once. His heart wouldn't stop pounding. When he got home, he swore to delete all the pictures. But before doing that, he decided to look at them one last time. The first few were normal. Walls, furniture, stairs. Then came one that made his blood run cold. It showed the child's bedroom upstairs. The bed, the toys, and in the corner, someone standing behind him. A blurry figure, half burned, looking straight at the camera. He hadn't seen anyone when he took it. He scrolled further. The next photo showed himself standing near the doorway, terrified. But he didn't take that one. His camera had taken it, by itself. He slammed his laptop shut, breathing hard. He tried to calm down, telling himself it was a glitch, some weird camera issue. The next morning, he went to delete all the files. But every time he removed a photo, another one appeared, darker, grainier, showing him from different angles in his own apartment. The last photo in the folder made him drop his laptop in fear. It was a new picture, taken just seconds ago, and in it, he was sitting at his desk, with a burned hand resting on his shoulder. Noah loved camping. Whenever life got stressful, he'd pack his backpack, grab his tent, and head out to the woods for a few quiet days. He said the forest made him feel free. No noise, no people, just nature. One Friday afternoon, he decided to visit an old forest about 40 miles from town. It wasn't a popular spot anymore. Most people said it was unsafe and easy to get lost there, but that made it perfect for Noah. He wanted peace. He arrived around 5 p.m., parked his car near an old dirt trail, and hiked for about an hour until he found a clearing surrounded by tall pine trees. The air was cool and the only sound was the wind brushing through the leaves. He set up his tent, started a small fire, and cooked some soup. As the sun began to set, the forest grew darker than usual. The trees seemed thicker, closer. He didn't mind. He sat by the fire, watching sparks drift into the night sky. Then he heard something strange. A faint whistle. It came from deep within the trees. 3 short notes, soft and almost human. He turned his head and listened. Silence again. Probably an animal, he thought, or the wind. An hour later, just as he was about to crawl into his tent, he heard it again. 3 short whistles. But this time they were closer. He stood up, shining his flashlight toward the woods. The beam hit nothing but tree trunks and mist. "Hello?" he called out. No reply. He waited for a moment, then zipped up his tent and tried to sleep. But he couldn't. The forest was quiet, too quiet. At around 1 a.m., he woke up to the sound of soft footsteps outside his tent. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He froze. The sound circled the tent slowly, like someone walking around it, dragging their feet. He whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. The footsteps stopped. He grabbed his flashlight and unzipped the tent just a little, shining the light outside. Nothing. Just trees and darkness. Then the whistling started again. 3 short notes. But this time it came from right behind him. He spun around, no one there. His chest tightened. The fire had gone out. The only light was his shaky flashlight. Noah decided to leave. He packed what he could, stuffed everything in his bag, and started walking back toward the car. The path was narrow and twisted, but he thought he remembered it. He kept looking back, making sure no one was following. After about 10 minutes, he noticed something strange. On a tree ahead of him, there were marks, small carvings, almost like symbols. 3 circles connected by a line. He had never seen them before. He walked faster. Then came the whistle again from far behind. He didn't look back this time. He just kept moving, breathing hard, trying not to panic. But the more he walked, the more carvings he saw. The same 3 circles scratched into trees every few feet. It felt like the forest was repeating itself. After another 20 minutes, he stopped. He should have reached the car by now. But he was still surrounded by the same kind of trees, same carvings, same fog. He pulled out his phone, no signal. The battery was at 12%, he whispered to himself. Stay calm. Just follow the trail. But when he looked down, the trail was gone. The ground looked untouched, like no one had ever walked there. And then from the mist, a voice whispered, "Why did you come back?" Noah spun around, shining his flashlight wildly. "Who's there?" The voice came again, soft and close. "You shouldn't have come back." He could see movement between the trees, a tall figure standing still. It didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there. He stepped back slowly but tripped over a root and fell. His flashlight rolled away, landing near the figure. For a second, the light hit its face, pale, long, with black empty eyes and a mouth too wide, like it was stretched open. The whistle came again, but now it sounded wet, broken. Noah ran. He didn't care which direction anymore. He just ran through the dark, branches tearing his jacket, his legs burning. He didn't stop until he saw a faint light through the trees, his car. He burst out of the woods, gasping for air, and jumped inside. He locked the doors, started the engine, and sped off down the dirt road. When he looked in the rearview mirror, the headlights lit up the first few rows of trees, and in that split second, he saw someone standing there at the forest's edge. It was the same tall figure, smiling, one hand raised as if waving goodbye. He didn't stop driving until he reached home. When he got there, he noticed something on his car's window. 3 small symbols drawn in mud, 3 circles connected by a line. He washed the car the next day and told no one about what happened. But a week later, he heard on the news that another camper had gone missing near that same forest. Police found his tent, but not him. The only clue they found was a message carved into a tree near the campsite. It said, "He keeps calling."